1 second. Posting on Discord really quick. Anyone here? What's up, Alex? Probably not. I don't know how many people are going to join. Successfully. Usually, I haven't really been getting that many people. I'll get like 2 to 4 to 5 people. I've been trying to get more, so if you know anybody that wants to come by, then definitely. But I'm gonna make it a simple 30-minute live stream. Though I won't keep it on here too long. What's up, bro? Let's see, everyone. Let's say we are. Okay. Alright, I just posted on Discord. Maybe some people will get on there. I don't know. Okay, let's kind of get started. It's not going to be that long of a live stream. All right, so usually we have this girl named Cheryl, and then we have Chandler. There's a guy named Chandler that usually joins the chat room, and they participate in everything. They like post up tickers and stuff. But as if right now, probably not that many people are going to join. We might get a few new people. That would be awesome. That's what I'm really looking for, is to get some new people in here too, so that we can all kind of talk. Post link in another desk. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's awesome of you. Sweet. Yeah, because it would be a lot more fun if we had people in the comment section. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna jump right into it, basically, though, because I want to be able to break down some stocks before the stream ends later on. Um, by the way, if you hear some weird breathing noises in the background, it's not a creep outside my window. It's actually my dog. He's he is like breathing really loud. He is out like a light. Okay, so 4 hour. I wanted to show something to you also, Alex, if you don't mind, if that's what if I'll call you that. No, I can't hear him. Okay. I want to show this to you because of UAL, if I believe that's what it is. Is that United Airlines? Is that what that is? United Airlines? I don't know. One thing I wanted to show you though is the pattern did look good, but I don't know if you got that picture I sent you. Like, I know you received it. I'm saying, like, I don't know if you actually understood what I was talking about in that picture, or if it made sense, because it was kind of complicated because I was drawing everywhere. I try to color organize it and try to make it look the same so you could see which patterns I was looking at. But same for Apple right now. United Airlines. All right, sweet. Yeah, same for Apple right now. Like, yeah, there's support and resistance, and yes, that's important. But you can also look at the indicators too as a past pattern. For example, how would I feel more comfortable about Apple? See, most of the time we would say, okay, we would rather wait for it to come back down to the SMA. When in reality, it actually has a history of trending a pretty good distance above the SMA. So it trending up from here actually wouldn't be too bad, at least to its past resistance at 201. But I have a 203 price target in the watch list on Discord, um, and here's why. Do you see the MACD also? Wait, first the RSI. I'm gonna go ahead and draw something right here. You see how the RSI tends to, there's different stocks that hit different areas, and that's what I want you to understand. Every stock has their own characteristics, and each stock changes every single, day to every half year. For example, if you're on the 4 hour chart, then look at this. RSI has a tendency to bounce at this line, the support I drew. It has a tendency to turn around right there. It comes down. It did end up peaking down over here, but overall, it comes down, bounces, comes down, technically bounce. It did come break below it a little bit here, but it's probably going to come down, and it might actually, most likely, since it's done it, that's the most pattern that's going on here, then I would definitely rely on that. Then it might actually come down and bounce here. That's why I said that the price area that, um, whoa, I just heard my echo. That was weird. But I would definitely think that it might come down to, of course, its past resistance here, owed support. It might touch that 195.69 area before it actually pushes up. And that would also let the 4-hour RSI come down and show that curling pattern. Of course, since it does do the curling situation, then it might be a good thing to kind of wait and watch to see if it'll break this previous high on the RSI. And that's not confirmation. You can't trade just on the RSI. But also look at the MACD. Whenever it breaks from below and breaks above this line, it comes back down and tends to bounce at this area. And yes, these aren't big bounces, but kind of at the same time. Like, look, where it bounced here, it bounced on the RSI, and look how big that push was. From 189 all the way up to 201. Came down for that second bounce from 199 all the way up to 207. And then etc. Same one more time. It actually pushed down 199 and hit 214. So they're pretty big pushes, but and you don't got to be in the overall push. But if you know that it might actually bounce here at its previous resistance, you can see this one. It resisted here, so then it bounced and it bounced again one more time and pushed up. So when it touched here and you saw that this was a pattern of bouncing at this line, then I just got a message. Okay. All right, but it tends to bounce here. Then we knew that when it was coming back down, it wasn't totally bearish. The only reason we knew that, and the only reason we knew it probably wasn't going to break down below the SMA, is because the RSI has a tendency of actually bouncing. Technically, what I'm saying is past patterns mean that this is Apple's oversold, technically speaking. Like, this is technically oversold on the RSI indicator. Ripple, shut up. He was snoring. But, gosh, good lord. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Getting messages. Um, but basically, what I mean is that is it's oversold. When it hits this line that I drew here, it technically has a history of bouncing back up to overbought. Every stock is different, and you could do the same thing on the 1 day chart. So, for example, if this looks like it's changing and it's about to bounce on the 1 day chart, wait for it to hit oversold and on its oversold pattern. And when it does hit that oversold pattern, then it'll start pushing up popular. Um, Goodness. Uh, but we do got to be careful though, because Apple has had a past indicator that it can possibly drop. Once something happens once, it can happen again. Most likely, the odds of the one that repeated 4 times, that'll be the one most likely to happen. But it doesn't mean it has to. It could totally come back down and start trending below this line like it did here, and start creating this new pattern along that. Well, I mean, I have to draw a line along this white line here. So, but to keep that in mind, overall trend from here to here, it's up. So, yes, I know it looks like, oh, it could be down, but freaking Lord, sorry about the messages. Um, I know that it could look like it's going to trend down, just like a lot of people thought SPY was going to trend down when it didn't. And I called that one out too. I had to call everybody out on it, and I was like, SPY is not bearish. Why do you guys think the market's crashing? Yeah, I said that like 4 times because 4 different times I thought the market was going to crash, and I had to call them out on it. But this technically isn't a lower high. I know it looks like it because it peaked out here, but this one isn't done yet. It's never broken lows. Even if it came below here, still not breaking lows. It would have to break right here. If it broke below here, then I could see it pulling back up and then pushing down. But as of right now, it's probably going to touch. I got a desired entry at 195.70, and then it could push up. And I would probably honestly will sell at 201.23 to be safe, but it'll probably end up breaking highs and start making its way back up to 210. All good, bro. All right, good. Um, let's see. Yeah, it's indicating already it's wanting to go up. It opened way up here, and like 3 different times opened way up here, and then sold, sold, sold. but still indicating it's breaking highs or it's wanting to trade higher. Noticed how the price went sideways, but the MACD reset, so it's getting ready to get back in this good deal area. So a good example here. We just saw that 4 hour and I went over the MACD. It typically turns around at that area, right? On the 1 minute, it's kind of different, and you got to trade like this too on the 1 minute if you're a day trader, or if you want to take a really good position. On the 1 minute, it tends to hit oversold a lot before it actually turns back up to the overbought area. So when it hits oversold, I wouldn't buy just because it hits oversold. I would wait for it to actually show that curl, because like here, it pushed all the way up, but yet the price stayed the same the whole way up. And then when we saw it breaking highs, it came back down for a good deal, and we saw where it typically bounces after it pushes oversold, comes up, bounces. Let me remove this so you can actually see this. So after when it hits oversold, it usually comes up, rejects, comes down for a good deal, and bounces to overbought. So I could have bought right here, sold here. Oversold, pushes up, comes back down and bounces on this line, and then it pushes up, right? Oversold, it pushes up, and then comes back down and bounces on this line. That would be my good deal area, like where I would want to buy. So I wouldn't buy down here because the price could still be falling. I would just wait for it, push up, show that kind of reversal pattern, and then let it push up a little more to see how high the price is going to be going. And then when it comes back down for that good deal where it typically bounces to start trending up, then I could buy. So I could buy here if I really wanted to, or I could have waited to buy here and then sold here. I mean, the market's closed, but still, just an example. But on the MACD, technically it hasn't met your criteria. So for me to take a position, technically speaking, if the market was open right now and these were the conditions for me to take a position, I would have to see the MACD at taking a position, not take one when it's down there. I mean, look at taking a position. That would be my criteria, and then along with what's its patterns, what the indicators appear like. Does it usually reject the SMA or the EMA, or where does it typically trend with the VWAP? Like, you can use all these to strengthen your odds of winning. That's basically all you do. You can also look at the 15-minute to kind of help you out. See how the 15-minute, it typically this is a good deal area. It doesn't mean to wait again for it to fall. I mean, you can, but technically speaking, it's already touched that good deal area. So technically speaking, since when it hits the good deal area, it trends back up to the positive, the bullish area on MACD, then that means that it might actually trend up because it is a history, it's a past pattern of it doing this. It might actually start trending up back into this bullish territory again. And so, yeah, and then you can look on the 15-minute to get your entry too. So here, bounced once, pushed up. Let's see, bounced here. Technically, that was bounce. Bounced here, bounced, bounced. So probably take a position because the price doesn't have to fall when the RSI resets. Like, if this makes sense. For example, it's oversold here, but look what the price is. But then it's oversold here, but the price is even higher than down here. But yet it's still oversold. That's proof that RSI does not show the actual direction or how hard the push will be. That's all up to the stock itself. If you're getting in for a good deal and seeing how high it has its potential, how high it'll push. For example, and it's just as easy as this. This is literally how easy it is. We overcomplicate it and we scare ourselves out of trades. But I'll show you. It's literally as easy as like 1, 2, 3. So we have our top and our bottom. So technically, this is a neutral area. This is a not good deal, but not a bad deal. So it's kind of neutral. So you want to wait for confirmation. You never know where it could end up. It has a tendency of hitting this quite often, actually, even right here. So I'm going to draw that. So it bounced there, came down, bounced, came down, bounced, came down, bounced. Too many bounces aren't good, but then again, it shows strength that support is pretty strong because 100% recoveries every time it hits it, at least for that little fall. But did it break highs? It did not, so it's not growing, nor is it actually not growing, because it's Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Okay, I don't know if my, I don't know what's going on with the live stream. I don't know, my internet's been acting stupid here recently. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to go over that really quick, and then I want to go over SPY too really quick before I end the live stream because I end it in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep it actually like keep my word basically that I'll live stream for about 30 minutes. I usually do it for like 45 to an hour. What in the world was that just popped up on my screen? I don't know if you guys saw that. I have OBS on my application Thinkorswim though, so you probably didn't see it. Something just popped up and disappeared. That was really weird. Okay, I don't even know if you're still with me right now. For some reason, mine says that the chat is disconnected, so you might not even be able to say anything. It's working for me. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, now it says successfully connected. Sorry, my internet's been stupid. Um, 4 hour. First, see how the MACD has reset. Typically, it does, not typically, it has turned around at the zero purple line, so it possibly can again. Now, to me personally, I think the SPY will come back down. Now, whether or not it breaks highs, that's up to it. I can't determine, I can't predict the future. It can totally go completely the opposite way of what I want it to go because I want to get in for a good deal. And in fact, I want to at least get in at 290 because if it didn't keep pushing up that high, then yeah, it was supposed to hit around 289, 290 for a pretty nice run. Um, but since it's trying to trend up so aggressively, it could end up breaking highs just because that MACD is reset. But the RSI most likely needs to come back down for a good deal. Um, but it does have a history of hitting pretty high overbought, so it still has a little bit of room to go back up. Um, 1 second. Okay. RSI did solidate the bounce where it typically does. When it's overbought, it bounces here. But look what happens also. See this line right here? See how it comes overbought, it bounces, and then rejects from this line and pushes down. It comes down for overbought, comes down here, pushes up, and comes back down and pushes up again, and it hasn't broken highs. As in, like, if it breaks highs, then yeah, it's probably going to go back to overbought. But if it doesn't, it might get rejected actually and start pushing down. Um, but it is way, way, way overextended, even on the 4 hour. Check this out. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to fall though. This is just, you'd have to put a stop loss basically. Um, way overextended. Okay. So typically in this area, it likes to trend back down. When it's overbought, trends back down to oversold. So it starts going into a downtrend. Here, starts going into a little bitty downtrend. And then it kind of went sideways here. And then, these messages are insane. And then here, and typically you see what happened here? So it's oversold. And this is why I wouldn't have taken a position because it's just the MACD trying to explain this. It's just the indicators. I'm not using any indicators in the price action, which you have to do. Trading's not easy, but you can make it simpler than most people make it. And eventually it becomes second nature. And I'm gonna unplug my laptop. It's fully charged. Okay. But typically what would happen here is it's going to push probably back down at least a little bit when the market opens. Now, let's keep in mind that this was, you can use support and resistance. This was kind of like a resistance where it kept trending down in this area, and now it's starting to weirdly act as a support. So, and I've seen SPY, it actually has a characteristic of doing this, even on the 4 hour chart. It can possibly start bouncing along this area. So if we wake up in the morning and it's down here, it could potentially be a good deal. And how would you know if it's going to bounce there? Most likely, if this RSI is way oversold and then the MACD is only right here, it's probably going to bounce there because the RSI is way oversold, as in it's a good deal. So wherever that price may be, maybe past resistance, that's where it's usually good to count that at. Is if this starts coming down and then pushing up, it might be a good entry at 294.60 if the RSI is oversold and the MACD is only right here. If it's only right here, then yes, I think that it'll, and mainly focus on that white line. And I think that that may show an indication of, oh, it's probably going to bounce with the MACD at that level now as a support. So it's going to at least come back up and probably touch here or break highs to go way overbought or whatnot. If it doesn't break that and it breaks lows, it's probably trending back down to another area wherever it's going to be. But we combined MACD with the RSI together, and you can kind of work them out to a very strong indicator, just one single strong indicator, if that makes sense. You should look at Roku. Might bounce soon. Okay. Yeah, well, 1 second. Let me see what's going on here. Ooh. So it is lucky it did this overnight because every time it does this overnight, MACD tends to reset with the price staying exactly where it's at. I don't know why it just does that. Roku. Alright, so we are at a good deal. On the 1 minute chart, there is a pretty nice fall. It was trading at $94, $95, and now it's around that $90 to $91 range. So that is a pretty good deal compared to what it was at. Let's see what the overall chart looks like. Wait, first, that 5 minute looks really nice. Okay. I mean, I would sell for the safety at previous resistance. I'd probably sell at like the $94 mark. If I could get an entry somewhere down here. So this is our trading range typically. It might bounce to reject here. In fact, I'm just going to make this slightly transparent so it's not as noticeable, but you can still see it. There we go. Because there's a slight little resistance there, meaning it could come up, either reject here and then bounce, or either push above here and then come back down and bounce and then push up. That's why I do that. Depending on where it's opened, a good entry would be either I would really want that 90.45 to that 92 area, and then trade it all the way up to 94. That wouldn't be too bad of a trade. Let me look at the Roku. If I'm not mistaken, it should be bullish because I saw Roku before. Yeah. Oh, good example here. See how the overall trend's up, but yet it comes from overbought to actually oversold. Roku would be a good swing trade. In fact, you probably just put this on my watch list. You actually did just put this on my watch list. I mean, you put UAL on my watch list too. It was a pretty good call out. I could see exactly what you were talking about. It tends to turn around right here. And again, if you need to focus just on that white line, edit your MACD. And that was my turn. Edit, study, MACD. Go to your blue line here and hit more. And go to HSV, which I believe you can only do this on desktop. HSV, turn your transparency up a little bit. I'm going to actually turn mine up even a little more. Turn it up to 70, hit OK and apply. And now that blue line won't catch your attention as much. So that white line is the one you want to look at. That's usually the directional line, the directional indicator. Like when it's pointing up, most likely price is pointing up. Now again, it has a past history of trending below the SMA before it trends up. So my price target might be actually somewhere at, or not my price target, my bad, my desired entry. Price target looks like it could possibly break highs, but due to past patterns on the price action itself, when it hits oversold or overbought up here, it tends to want to come down here. Doesn't have to, but that's where it looks like it's going to be going. I know it looks like it's just going to shoot straight back up and have a nice solid bounce, but it's not usually what happens. It'll come down. Let's see, we're in around this stage right here. So it's, see how the price here came down and hit the SMA, bounced up a little bit, and then started trading below it. Same thing can happen. Kind of bounced here, pushed up, and now it can start trading below it. And I'm just going to wait to watch, of course, but if it does end up at the 86.50 area, knowing that it's so oversold, I might go to the 5 minute to 1 minute to see when it's oversold, and then take a small position on there, and still day trade it. But knowing that if it's in an overall uptrend when it validates that curl, then I can actually go into the 1 minute chart and buy when it's oversold. So if it is actually, does that make sense? If it is actually indicating like this right here, It improves your odds like a tremendous amount. Well, thought it was going to let me draw that. Um, if it is actually trending up, like it starts to validate that curl, it starts to trend up, even if it's right here. I know it seems like it's too late to get in, but technically it's not. But if, all right, so basically if it breaks above this price at 95.43, I know it's like, oh, it's at $90. That's a $5 move, but to be very conservative and to be very safe, this isn't to get in for a swing trade. I mean, you can, but if you were to day trade this, then one thing I would do is just wait. Because think about it. If you wait, you're not taking a position, and my laptop just froze, I think. Or I think it's my internet. I do apologize. Yeah, it's frozen. Let me see here. Okay, that was weird. Back on. Okay, I'm back on. Popped up some error. Okay. But if you just wait for it, it'll come down and it could touch this area to where you're like, oh, good deal. Or go ahead and delete that. Remove. Okay. Or you can wait for it to break, and once it breaks that's breaking highs. That means it's growing. That means when you go to the 1 minute chart, when the 1 minute chart is hitting oversold with the MACD at a typical area, it usually turns around on the 1 minute chart. Um, Same along with RSI. Like the oversold area could be here on the 1 minute chart. It's wherever it typically tends to bounce when it hits a low price. Use that, and then use the MACD with that RSI oversold. And if the MACD looks like it's curling, and then the RSI is oversold in a typical area based on past patterns, um, and the price is looking good, and we already know on the 4 hour it broke highs. That means that on the 1 minute you have such a higher chance of getting in on a big nice push. Um, because if the candles here are pushing up a little bit and it bounces here, and then on a 1 minute chart it's oversold, most likely that's a bounce on the 4 hour right here. So then it might bounce up and start pushing back up, and you can get on like a $3 or $4 rip. Um, but yeah, I hope you're still around. Let's see. I'm not. It's weird. I'm not seeing the new. Oh, that's weird. Hopefully you're sticking around on Discord a little bit. I'll be on there kind of messing around. I might even post a little drawing of Roku on my predictions of what I think might happen, or what I would like to see happen, or what I'll be watching out for. It's been 30 minutes, I believe. It's 1 o'clock where I am. um, Up here. Yeah, there we go. It's 1 o'clock. Um, but, ooh, look at there, July 1st. Sweet. 7 more days until the challenge. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this. I know you were the only viewer, would be, but as long as I mean, dude, you gave me some entertainment. You commented on here. People do tend to like watch these whenever they're done. That's why I'm only making it 30 minutes, so they don't have to watch an hour and 30 minute video live stream or whatever. But when we start getting more people, it'll be a lot more fun. We can kind of mess around and joke around and stuff and talk about some good trades. Um, I might even do a screen share on my Discord. So if you can, share as much as you can. I want to get Moon Trades a little more noticeable. I want to be the first free serviced like class basically. Like everyone can actually have their high quality class and their high quality course or high quality trading session, whatever you want to call it, for free. Like there's nothing to it. The only thing that's bringing me is it's building an audience. That's all I want really. There's literally no money involved. I mean, to be honest, YouTube might pay me in the future if I monetize my videos, if I do that. But yeah, if you could share like for people on just bring them to the Discord or my YouTube channel, that would be freaking awesome. And if you do, let me know. Like, tell them to let me know that it was you. And I might, like, throw something out at you or something. But, thank you for joining in. I really do appreciate it. I will catch you later or in the Discord.